Today we'll discuss about digestion, a process of digestion. A process of digestion is of two types, mechanical digestion and a chemical digestion. Mechanical digestion is taking place only in buccal cavity. They may ask, mechanical digestion takes place in which of the following site? Buccal cavity, gastric stomach and duodenum. That is taking place only in buccal cavity. Mechanical digestion in the sense, the food is cut into small pieces with the help of teeth and saliva. So that in buccal cavity, mainly mechanical digestion takes place. Mechanical digestion takes place. Okay? Then, chemical digestion. Chemical digestion takes place in three sites. Mechanical digestion takes place in, that is buccal cavity. Chemical digestion means food is digested. A complex food is converted into simple food molecules by the action of chemicals named enzymes. And that chemical digestion takes place in 1. Buccal cavity, 2. Gastric stomach, 3. Duodenum, 4. All these is right. It takes place in all of them. It is taking place in buccal cavity and is also taking place in stomach and duodenum. And now let us see what are the events which are taking place in buccal cavity. Buccal cavity. In saliva, just two enzymes. One is lysozyme, another is amylase. Lysozyme is antibacterial, is no way concerned with the digestion of food. It just kills the bacteria present in the food. And the amylase is amylytic enzyme. What it does? It acts upon starch, a polysaccharide, is converted into a disaccharide maltose. That is by the action of amylase. Not total starch is converted into maltose. Just 30% of starch is converted into maltose. And one more thing you should remember, amylase of saliva is also named as, even that name also you should remember, ptyalin. Amylase or ptyalin. Amylase is also there in pancreatic juice. That amylase is alpha amylase. Amylase which is present in pancreatic juice is alpha amylase. Amylase which is present in saliva is ptyalin. That's all. Only this is the single step which is taking place in buccal cavity. And after mainly mechanical digestion and little of chemical digestion, that food becomes a semi-solid paste that is named as bolus. Now this bolus enters into second site, that is stomach. In stomach, gastric juice is there, but we do see 3 enzymes, but those 3 enzymes are there in inactive form. They are there in inactive form. That is zymogen form. Pepsinogen, prorenin, and another one is gastric lipase. Here what happens is that pepsinogen, inactive form of enzyme, is converted into active pepsin. This is by HCl. Many times in the NEET they have asked it. Inactive pepsinogen is converted into active pepsin by HCl. And this pepsin, it activates prorenin. It becomes active renin. This is by the action of pepsin. Remember this. HCl activates pepsinogen into active pepsin. Prorenin, inactive prorenin becomes renin by, they may ask the question, they will write HCl, because as prorenin is there in stomach, we may confuse and write HCl. Remember, prorenin becomes renin by the action of pepsin. But this prorenin, it is there in the gastric juice of stomach of infants, newborn babies. Those babies, they feed on milk, and this renin is a milk protein digesting enzyme. Renin is a milk protein digesting enzyme. They can make another neat question. Which of the following is a milk protein digesting enzyme? That is renin. Then pepsin is a protein digesting enzyme. And let us see the proteins present in the food are converted into proteoses and peptones. This is by the action of pepsin. What are proteoses and peptones? They are intermediate proteins or derived proteins. They are formed by the partial hydrolysis of protein by the action of pepsin. By the action of pepsin. And this renin acts upon milk protein. And is converted into peptones. Even renin is also considered as curding enzyme. They may ask which of the following is a curding. It converts milk into curd. Curding enzyme, renin. Even they may ask which of the following is a curding bacteria, lactobacillus. It converts milk into curd. Curding bacteria, lactobacillus, and curding enzyme is renin. That also you should remember. In addition to this, that gastric lipase is there. It is functionless. It never acts upon any fat. Why does it never act upon any food? Fat. Fat gets digested only when it is emulsified. When it is converted into fat droplets, then only lipase enzymes can act upon. But for that emulsification of fat, bile is necessary. But that bile comes to duodenum, not to the stomach. So that fat is not emulsified. As fat is not emulsified, so that gastric lipase never acts upon fat. That's why is functionless. They make the statement and ask, gastric lipase is functionless, which is due to the fat in the stomach is not emulsified. Why it is not emulsified? Bile never comes to stomach. Bile never comes to stomach. Only the protein digestion we do see in a stomach, and no fat digestion, even no carbohydrate digestion also, because in gastric juice no carbohydrate digesting enzymes. That's all. This is a second site where the food is proteins are converted into intermediate proteins, and no fat digestion as well. In case the simple fat like butter is there in our food, may be digested by gastric lipase for little extent. After the digestion, the food in the stomach is said to be chyme. This chyme goes to the third and final site, that is duodenum. Chyme goes to duodenum. And here in previous NEET exams, one question was asked. A person is not feeling well. He just consumed starch as his food. What is the composition of chyme? Was the question asked. A person is falling ill, he is not feeling well as well. He consumes only starch as a food. What is the composition of chyme? He has taken starch, means only starch digestion is here, giving maltose. And in the stomach, no carbo starch digestion. Then what would be the composition of chyme? 1. Maltose. 2. Starch. 3. Maltose and a starch. 4. None. You would see the starch is converted into maltose in buccal cavity, so that your answer will be maltose. No. Just 30% of starch is converted into maltose, so that 70% of starch is still remained. Then the right answer is, in the chyme, the composition is starch and maltose. In stomach, no digestion of starch, but is taking place only in buccal cavity. That too 30% of starch is converted into maltose. And what is the composition of chyme? 30% maltose, 70% starch. Instead of writing only maltose. If you write just maltose, that is also there in the multiple choice, that's wrong. If you write starch is also wrong, as you are knowing in the stomach no digestion. But the answer is starch and maltose. And now this chyme comes to the duodenum. Here also we can raise many neat questions. The third site, it is the final site for digestion, that is in the duodenum. But in duodenum, there are 3 juices. One is bile, which comes from liver, pancreatic juice, which comes from pancreas, and intestinal juice, which is there in intestine itself, duodenum itself. 3 juices with the enzymes are there. Among these 3 juices, bile is the only digestive juice which doesn't have any enzymes. Then what is the role of this bile for the digestion? It contributes its role for the digestion of fat. Does it digest the fat? No. It helps for emulsification of fat. Emulsification of fat. A role of bile. What it does is, fat is converted into fat droplets. Fat droplets by the process named emulsification. For this emulsification, bile is necessary. If no bile, no emulsification of fat. If fat is not emulsified, it cannot be digested. That's why, in the stomach, even though gastric lipase is there, fat is there, but fat is not digested because fat is not emulsified. For the emulsification of fat, bile is necessary, but bile never comes to stomach. Bile is there in duodenum. In the first step itself, fat is converted into fat droplets. That process is said to be emulsification, and it is taking place in presence of bile. The role of bile is over. And this fat droplets, even otherwise said to be fat droplets, is also named as emulsified fat. Yes. The role of bile is only this much. And now let us see the role of enzymes of pancreatic juice. Role of enzymes of pancreatic juice. It is having amylolytic enzymes, even proteolytic enzymes, even lipolytic enzymes. It is having the proteolytic enzymes, means protein digesting enzymes. There are three. One is trypsinogen, another is chymotrypsinogen, one more is procarboxypeptidase. That trypsinogen, it is an inactive form of enzyme. When it comes to duodenum, when pancreatic juice comes to duodenum, trypsinogen becomes activated into trypsin. This activation is done by enterokinase. This enterokinase is present in intestinal juice. See here, pepsinogen is activated into pepsin by SCL, whereas trypsinogen is activated by enterokinase. Remember this. Trypsinogen is activated by which of the following? Enterokinase. Pepsinogen is activated by which of the following? SCL. Once trypsin gets activated, it converts chymotrypsinogen and procarboxypeptidase into chymotrypsin and procarboxypeptidase becomes carboxypeptidase. This is why trypsin. See here, bunch of neat questions. Pepsinogen is activated by SCL. Prorenin is activated by pepsin. Trypsinogen is activated by enterokinase. Chymotrypsinogen is activated by trypsin. Procarboxypeptidase is activated by trypsin. You should remember all these. Only that trypsinogen is activated by enterokinase. Once it gets activated, it activates its colleagues. chymotrypsinogen and procarboxypeptidase into active chymotrypsin and carboxypeptidase. And these three are proteolytic enzymes, protein digesting enzymes. Now the proteins in stomach is there in the form of intermediate proteins, so that these proteases and peptones are converted into di and tripeptides. Di and tripeptides by the action of trypsin and chymotrypsin. Trypsin and chymotrypsin, proteases and peptones are converted into di and tripeptides by trypsin and chymotrypsin. And here proteins are converted into proteases and peptones. It doesn't mean all the proteins are converted into proteases and peptones. No, a part of protein is converted into proteases and peptones, so that remaining protein is converted into di and tripeptides by the action of carboxypeptidase. See, for the conversion of proteins into di and tripeptides, proteins converted into proteases and peptones by pepsin, and these proteases and peptones are converted into di and tripeptides by trypsin and chymotrypsin. But in the duodenum, the remaining protein, it never gives proteases and peptones. By the action of carboxypeptidase, it gives di and tripeptides. They can make this one equation. Instead of writing pepsin, they write X, proteases and peptones. Then they become di and tripeptides. Here, Y and Z. You have to decode. In answer, this is pepsin, and here trypsin and a chymotrypsin. Like that they can make. But the proteins directly become di and tripeptides by carboxypeptidase. This is about protein digestion by the enzymes of pancreatic juice. There are amylytic enzymes in pancreatic juice. Just two amylytic enzymes. One is alpha amylase, another is maltase. What that alpha amylase does is continued one. It acts upon starch and glycogen. They are converted into maltose by the action of alpha amylase. Alpha amylase is there in pancreatic juice. Amylase is there in saliva. Amylase present in saliva is also named as ptyalin. What it does? That converts starch into maltose. But this alpha amylase of pancreatic juice converts both starch and glycogen into maltose, a disaccharide. Difference between amylase of saliva and amylase of pancreatic juice is this. And a starch, is a reserved food in plants. And a glycogen is a reserved food in animals. Starch. Sometimes, general bio questions, they may ask, we know starch is a reserved food in plants. And glycogen is a reserved food in animals. They can twist the question and ask, which of the following is considered as plant glycogen? Starch is a plant glycogen. Which of the following is considered as animal starch? That is none other than glycogen. Because both of them are polysaccharides and they are the reserved food. Starch is stored in plant. Instead of saying, they twist and ask like this, a plant glycogen, that is starch. Animal starch is glycogen. Like that also they can make the question. And now maltose is formed. And another disaccharide already formed in buccal cavity, maltose. And this maltose is converted into two molecules of glucose by the action of maltase. These are the two enzymes which are present in pancreatic juice, where starch and glycogen are converted into maltose, and maltose is converted into glucose and glucose by maltase. And now the next enzyme is pancreatic lipase, present in pancreatic juice. It acts upon in duodenum by the action of bile. Fat is emulsified. Now this enzyme acts upon emulsified fat and is converted into fatty acid and glycerol, end products of fat. This is by gastric lipase. Gastric lipase. Emulsified fat. Emulsified fat means fat droplets. Then this is the role of enzymes of pancreatic juice. In duodenum, even intestinal juice is also there. Let us see the role of enzymes of intestinal juice. And one more thing you should remember, the another name of intestinal juice is Succus entericus. They may ask, the other name of intestinal juice is Succus entericus. It is having the enzymes which take part in the final step of digestion. Final step digesting enzymes are present in which of the following juices? Bile, gastric juice, intestinal juice, pancreatic juice. They can give the multiple choice. The answer is that they are there in intestinal juice. Final step enzymes. Let us see, as far as proteolytic enzymes are concerned. Proteins, by the action of pancreatic enzymes, are there in the form of di and tripeptides. Di and tripeptides. These di and tripeptides are converted into amino acids by the action of dipeptidase and tripeptidase. Dipeptidase is a peptide having two amino acids. Tripeptide is a peptide having 3 amino acids. This dipeptidase acts upon dipeptides. Tripeptidase acts upon tripeptides and giving 2 amino acids, 3 amino acids respectively. These are final step enzymes. Dipeptidase, tripeptidase are final step proteolytic enzymes. Final step proteolytic enzymes. And then the protein digestion ends with the end products amino acids. And now there are 3 final step amylolytic enzymes are there. One is maltase, other is sucrase, one more is lactase. Maltose is a disaccharide present in the food, is converted into 2 molecules of glucose by the action of maltase. Sucrose is another disaccharide. By the action of sucrase is converted into glucose and fructose. And lactose, by the action of lactase, is converted into glucose and galactose. These are the 3 final step enzymes of carbohydrate digestion, so that maltose gives 2 molecules of glucose, sucrose gives 1 molecule of glucose, another molecule of fructose, lactose is giving glucose and galactose. And remember, maltose is otherwise said to be, you should remember this, malt sugar. You should know their general names also. Sucrose is otherwise said to be cane sugar, because it is there in sugar cane. And lactose is milk sugar. Remember, lactose is the only carbohydrate present in milk. That's why it is said to be milk sugar. They may ask it. We used to say milk is a total nutrient package. It is having carbohydrates, it is having proteins, minerals, vitamins, water. That's why it's said to be total nutrient package. But it is having very minimum carbohydrates. That is lactose. Only lactose is present in it. That's why it is said to be milk sugar. And these are the end products of carbohydrate digestion. And now, in the intestinal juice, there is a intestinal lipase. It acts upon emulsified fat. This emulsified fat is converted into fatty acid and glycerol. That is by the action of intestinal lipase. There are 3 lipases: gastric lipase, pancreatic lipase, and intestinal lipase. Among these 3 lipases, 2 lipases are active because they get the substrate emulsified fat, so that fatty acid and glycerol are formed. But for gastric lipase, fat is not available in the form of emulsified, is functionless. Among these 3, that is functionless. Whether it is gastric lipase or pancreatic lipase or intestinal lipase, it is a lipase. They may ask one more neat question. Which of the following food is digested by just one enzyme? That is none other than fat. Is digested by lipase, just one enzyme. But for carbohydrate digestion, amylase is there, alpha amylase is there, maltase, sucrase, lactase. For protein digestion, pepsin is there, renin is there, chymotrypsin, trypsin, carboxypeptidase, dipeptidase, tripeptidase, innumerable number of enzymes for protein digestion. But for fat digestion, fat is the only food which is digested just by one enzyme, that is none other than lipase. This is about the fat digestion also. And even nucleic acids like DNA and RNA, they are digested in duodenum only. That nucleic acids are digested, first converted in presence of nuclease into nucleotides. These nucleases are there in pancreatic juice. And these nucleotides are converted into nucleosides by nucleotidase enzyme. It is there in intestinal juice. And nucleosides are converted into pentose sugar and nitrogen base by the action of nucleosidase are present in intestinal juice only. Intestinal juice only. This is total nucleic acid digestion taking place. Nucleic acid digestion takes place in duodenum. 3 enzymes are necessary: nuclease, nucleotidase, nucleosidase. What they do is, they will give nucleic acids A into nucleotides B, C. Coding. Below the answers, 4 answers will be there. A is equal to, B is equal to, C is equal to. Like that they can ask. A is equal to, what is the enzyme? Nuclease. The enzyme acting upon nucleotides, nucleotidase. The enzyme which is acting upon nucleosides, nucleosidase. They can make like this. Sometimes what they do is, they give A, nuclease, B, nucleotidase, C, nucleosidase. They would ask, decoding A, B, C. Here A is nucleic acid, B is nucleotides, C is nucleosides. Like that, for any reaction they make the questions in general. Even the protein or carbohydrate digestion also, they can give equations like this and ask the question. You must be very careful about it. Like carbohydrate digestion, starch and glycogen. Maltose, glucose and glucose. What is A? What is B? They can ask like this. A is alpha amylase, becomes disaccharide maltose and maltase. Yes. If they give that just starch, what is this? Amylase or tryline? Maltose, by the action of maltase, glucose and glucose. Like this. And now proteins. Protein digestion. They can make the questions. Protein. Proteases and peptones. Di and tripeptides. Amino acids. Here A, B, C. Proteins become proteases and peptones by pepsin. It is A. Proteases and peptones become di and tripeptides by trypsin and chymotrypsin. And di and tripeptides become amino acids by dipeptidase and tripeptidase. They can ask A, B, C. This is the way the digestion takes place. After digestion is confined up to duodenum, a part of food is digested. Both digested and undigested food enter into jejunum and ileum portions. In the jejunum and ileum portion, only digested food is absorbed, like glucose, galactose, fructose from carbohydrate, amino acids from protein, and fatty acid and glycerol from fat. They are absorbed, and undigested food that will enter into large intestine. In the large intestine, there is no much digestion. Only bacterial decomposition is there. In a cecum, it's a sac in large intestine having symbiotic bacteria. They act upon cellulose because cellulase enzyme is not there in humans, because appendix is vestigial, so that cellulose is decomposed by bacteria, and water is reabsorbed in large intestine. Some drugs which are there in the blood capillaries are excreted in large intestine. And now that undigested food becomes feces. That feces is stored in the rectum and it is removed out through the anus by the process named defecation. It's about the digestion as well.